Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girvardhari Jaya Navabha Jaya Girvardhari Jaya Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjan Yashodanandan Brajajanaranjan Yamunatira Vanechari Yamunatira Vanechari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining weekly Bhagavad Gita class on behalf of Partsarthi Foundation. Today we have with us His Grace Srinivas Acharya Prabhu. I'm going to keep the description very short, Prabhuji. Please forgive me. Prabhuji is a disciple of His Holiness Hanumat Prekshak Swami Maharaj, which we had the fortune of hearing from him last week. From the time he got initiated in 2005, he has served the mission of ISKCON in various capacities as Bhakti Vriksha leader, Bhakti Shastri administrator, Pujari, and as the director in the management of board. And we are very fortunate that Prabhuji has now moved to Houston, so you all can get his Vapu association as well. With that, Prabhuji, I would like to hand over today's call to you, starting 4.11 to 4.15, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Anandana Mataji. I'm going to share my screen. So today we'll do verses 11 through 15. And we will recite verse number 11. And then other verses I will just read as we go along. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I would like some volunteers to repeat when I chant this verse. Ye yathamam prapadyante.
Ye yathamam prapadyante.
Tanstataiva bhajamyaham.
Tanstataiva bhajamyaham.
Mama vatmanu vartante.
Mama vatmanu.
Manushya partha sarvashah.
Manushya partha.
We will read the translation. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. So this is the first verse, and let's go ahead and read the translations for all the verses, and then when we go into the details, I'll pull up purports. Could someone read from 12 through 15 translations that's up on the screen?
We can start.
Yes, starting verse number 12.
Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods quickly. Of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, You should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitative reaction of work. All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. Even the intelligent are
I think
bewildered.
that's good, Mataji.
Oh,
Only have to
Hare
put, yeah, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramanand Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanyam Ishwaram Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we have seen previously Krishna has explained about who he is. When Krishna said that I gave this knowledge to sun god Vivaswan, it came in the parampara, and eventually the knowledge is lost. I am giving you this knowledge again. Arjuna asked, oh, how do I know? I mean, how can I understand that you have given this knowledge to sun god, because he's senior by birth to you? How is that possible? So what is the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita at this point of time?
Guru and Shishya.
Yes, Guru and Shishya, student and teacher. Because in the second chapter, initially they were friends, and in chapter number 2, they became student and teacher. Now in this fourth chapter, we have seen something higher. Krishna is not just ordinary teacher, but actually he is the original teacher who gave this knowledge, and it's coming in the parampara. And because it is broken, he came again to give the knowledge. So he's like Adi Guru, the original Guru. Because his knowledge is lost, he's coming again. And not only that, he explained that he comes out of his own will and he's unborn. That means he's also explaining that he is not part of this karma situation. In verse number 9, Janma karma chame divyam evam yometi tatvataha tvadeham punarjanma naiti mameti sojana. So by this verse, Arjuna could understand, oh, Krishna is not just my friend or guru, but this description he's giving about himself, that just that he is transcendental, and just by knowing about him, one can get liberated. Tameva viditvati mrutyumeti. By knowing that person, the Upanishads, the Vedas say that by knowing that Supreme, we'll cross over mrityu. And here Krishna is saying this. Oh, so then Krishna must be Supreme God. So, and he's saying many people who understood my situation, who understood who I am, that I am transcendental and I'm beyond the karmic laws. And those who understand me, they will also be free from karma. And what happened, all the great sages previously, in the verse number 10 we have seen, they became freed from attachment, fear, and anger by thinking of him and taking shelter of him. They became purified. And they attained transcendental love for Krishna. Puta madbhavam agataha. So then Arjuna understood, oh, so you must be that Supreme Lord. And you also said you come yada yada hi dharmasya many times. And I heard the Supreme comes in many incarnations. So therefore, people must be worshipping you. People must be approaching you in many different forms, in many different ways. Right, Krishna? This is the thought process that's going on in Arjuna's mind. And as a response to that situation of exchange and psychological, emotional situation, then Krishna is continuing, yes, yes, Arjuna. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. And everyone follows my path. So some of the words you see here is bhajami. Usually bhajami means what? I worship. Govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. But bhajami also means I reward. Sometimes it also means experience. Kritvaiva triptim bhajatas sadaiva. Vande guru shri charanarinda. The Guru experiences tripti when devotees eat nice prasadam, Krishna prasadam. So the word bhajami, bhaj, you see used in multiple contexts in our prayers, in the Bhagavad Gita. And here you can also understand that prapadyante, anuvartante, these have the meaning of they worship Krishna in different ways. So in this particular purport, because Krishna says, Sarvashaha, in all respects, everyone follows my path. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada kindly covers all kinds of people. So in general, worshipping of Krishna can happen as Krishna, as Bhagavan, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as we Vaishnavas do. Some people, they accept absolute truth as impersonal. Vadanti tattattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. The Supreme Absolute Truth is addressed as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So people approach those who want to know about absolute truth. They approach in these three different ways as their goal, these three different nomenclatures as their goal. But what does it mean? The impersonalists, their goal, they also worship Krishna with the aim of merging into impersonal Brahman. Impersonal Brahman is the light, the effulgence that is emanating from the body of Krishna. Krishna is in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, there are unlimited planets. The central planet is the Goloka Vrindavana. Krishna is residing there. From his effulgence, the entire spiritual world is pervaded, and that is called Brahman. And people want to merge into that. So those who worship Krishna with that motive, they merge there. And Prabhupada says some of them who are not even fixed up in that conception, because that conception is very difficult, as we see later in the Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, that they may come back. And Prabhupada says some of them unable to stay in that conception, return again to material activities. But those who want Krishna wants them that impersonal liberation. And for devotees, when devotees worship Krishna, he reciprocates with devotees the way the mood of the devotee is. As the devotee worships, so shall Krishna reciprocate. Those who see Krishna as a little child, He reciprocates in Vatsalya Bhava, Sakhya Bhava as those who want friendship, conjugal love with the gopis, as a master for those who are trying to get to him like servants. So in this way, Krishna reciprocates with all these people. And some people, their worship is Paramatma form. Usually the goal of people who see Krishna as Paramatma, they also go to impersonal. Their goal is also impersonal liberation. Not all of them, but usually. And that's those who are serious. And many people are not serious. They follow the yogic process and they get attracted by the mystic powers that come with the yogic process. So Krishna gives them their mystic powers. In the Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter, Krishna is called as Yogeshwara. He is the master of all mysticism, all mystic powers. So he gives the results of mystic power, those who want those. And for fruity workers, those who want Krishna, explains later that he created prescribed duties. And those who do those prescribed duties with the motive of getting some results, then Krishna will award them with those results. So everybody is looking for something. Impersonalists want to merge, yogis want mystic powers, fruity workers want some material wealth. But only a devotee is desireless. Now somebody may ask, well, devotee, he wants to serve the Lord. Isn't that a desire? That's also a desire. Right? Is it a desire or not? Is it a karma or not? Devotees want to serve Krishna. Is it a karma? Is it a desire?
Yes, Prabhuji, it is a spiritual desire.
Okay, it is a spiritual desire. Anyone else?
Yeah, desire.
Okay. All right. So we'll see what Shukadeva Goswami says. In this verse quoted from Bhagavatam, akama means no desire. Sarvakama means full of desires. Mokshakama means having a desire for liberation. Very expertly, Shukadeva Goswami uses the word kama, sarvakama, fruity workers, mokshakama, those who want liberation. But he uses for devotees akama, means they don't have desire. So then how do we explain this? It's because a devotee doesn't have his own independent desire. He just wants to see Krishna is all enjoying. He's the Supreme Lord. And where Krishna has created us for his own enjoyment. So we simply want to act in that capacity. Our free will, we surrender to Krishna. And Krishna, okay, we are meant to serve you, and I will accept that. Simple. That's why a devotee says, like Prabhupada, Krishna, I'm a puppet in your hand, you do whatever you want with me. So when you go tell somebody, you do what you want to do with me, then essentially I don't have a desire. I'm saying, your desire is my desire. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Takuriya Aikya. The consciousness is aligned with whatever Guru is saying. So that practice is what akama. And a devotee is therefore akama. And that's why Bhagavatam calls devotees as akama. And specifically calls moksha kama, those who are desiring moksha. So because devotees are like this, Krishna will give the opportunities to devotees. He becomes their own. He doesn't give himself to Mayavadis. He just, okay, all right, you can stay in my light. But for devotees, Krishna become conquered by the devotees because their aim is simply to give pleasure to Krishna. And in the topmost state, Radharani, Krishna cannot understand how Radharani is happy by seeing Krishna happy. And she is the embodiment of that bhakti, which all the devotees derive a little drop from. So in this way, in this statement of Krishna, Srila Prabhupada explains all this is embedded. So next verse. Now, yes, people go to Krishna and they surrender. So what we have discussed is the direct surrender. But some people, they surrender indirectly. They go to various demigods. Now you see this theme later in the Bhagavad Gita also. Whenever Krishna talks about people surrendering to him, he contrasts it with worship of demigods. For instance, if you see chapter 7, so here, Krishna, when he says, Bhaunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. After many births, one in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So he's talking about surrender to him. And immediately he contrasts, those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires, they surrender to demigods. You see the similar theme here? As all surrender unto me, I reward them. But there are some who surrender to demigods. So this pattern you can observe in the Bhagavad Gita, elsewhere in the scriptures also. So now why do they surrender to demigods? Kangshanta karmanam siddhim. They want perfection of their karmas. So previously we have discussed where usually the liberation will be goal when somebody approaches Krishna. Usually in the sense, the demons don't worship Krishna. Those who seriously worship Krishna, Krishna will slowly, the bhakti process itself will give them detachment from material things. So people, they get scared. And those who want just material desires, but nothing to do with this, what is this? Going back to Godhead or going back to Godhead, what am I going to do there? It's so nice here. Such type of people, they don't want to surrender to Krishna. So they surrender to demigods. And they'll get the results of their desires. They, seek a specific benefit. For that, they work towards it. They get the results. But this is where they stay. The results are temporary results. And even the demigods, the devatas, they are also temporary. Prabhupada says both the demigods and the living entities are temporary. And not only that, this Iha Devata includes not just demigods, but also Prabhupada uses the word anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism and zoomorphism. You basically elevate some person to the status of God even when he is not God. And usually when Prabhupada uses this word, he talks about Mayavadis who present themselves as God. And some people, followers of one leader in India whose institution has become very famous. He's from Bengal. I'm not going to give out the name. He and his wife became very famous because his student actually became very famous. He was a very learned scholar. Prabhupada said he got wrong guru. And they consider him to be Krishna. They consider him to be Lord Rama. And there are many people like that. And some people engage in these kind of things because they get some material abilities. But Krishna is not that kind of person. not just a human being who somehow became God. Krishna was the Supreme Lord from the beginning, not that he went and he meditated, then he realized something. And we see even modern day about this. Today, one person from Tamil Nadu, he became so big, he claims to be Shiva. And the whole world is Shiva Tattva, and he is Shiva, and he established a big Shiva temple with Shivalinga, and then his followers think he is the Shiva. So people follow him, they get benefits. He teaches some breathing exercises, this and that, talks so nicely. And he has some yogic siddhis of, with his talk, enchant people. And if you look deeply, it's all word jugglery. He says he never read scriptures, everything is already there with him. All confusing way of talking in this and that. And it attracts people and people follow him. But their motivation is simply material results. And kamaistaistar hritagnyana prapadyantenya devata. And that's what, here, 720, Prabhupada also paraphrased in this purport. Okay? So, and actually, the one important thing according to Padma Purana, those who equate demigods, what to speak of these normal living entities who are claiming to be God, equate them to Krishna is actually like an atheist, Pashandi. We have 10 offenses of chanting the holy name. Does anyone know the second offense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thinking of Shiva and Brahma as same as Krishna.
Yes.
And demigods too.
Yeah, are independent. Considering the names of demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Krishna. They are not independent of Krishna and they are not equal to Krishna. So after contrasting this, Krishna talks about the Varnashrama system. So Krishna, in order for people to get liberation, people follow his path, people follow what he has given, but what is the goal? And how did he give the system of surrendering unto him? How to work in this material world? And he did this through Chaturvarnyam Mayastristam Guna Karma Vibhagashah Tasya Kartaram Apimam Vidya Kartaram Avyayam. Krishna is saying, according to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. So here, this is a very important verse. And the reason is, you will see in the subsequent verses. If you see, here he's saying, you should know, Vidhi Akartaram. Arjuna, you must know that I am the non-doer, even though I created the system. And again, he tells in the next verse that there is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. I did not create this system because I need some result. That doesn't affect me. And it is very important to know that. One who understands this truth about me does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. And those who previously advanced in transcendental science, on the liberated soul, they acted with this particular understanding. And you should also act with that understanding. So when we go there, we'll talk about detail, but keep that in mind. So these verses are linked, interlinked. How Krishna is interacting with the material world, but at the same time, his janma and his karma, actions of material creation and the creation of the social system and how it's operating. He has given it, but he's transcendental to it. Okay. So then we may ask, why did he create this? What is the reason he created this? Because of our desires. Because we wanted to act in a particular way. He is giving us the best possible way to fulfill our desires. So the Brahmanas, those who want to understand the truth, then Krishna helps them by giving them these Brahmanical tendencies because they want to see the truth. Brahmanas, they are in the mode of goodness. Teachers, intellectuals. And next are the Kshatriyas who have a tendency to rule over others. And the Vaishyas are business. They are good at business, their agriculture, protecting cows, buying and selling. And Shudras, those who cannot independently do any of these things, they do give service and take in return some salary for their service. So this is their, you could say, there are two features to it. One is skills. There are particular skills that you can use for your livelihood. And there is a character that goes along with it. And these are a product of what is called material mode. So Brahmanas are predominantly there in the mode of goodness. Kshatriyas are in the mode of goodness and passion. Passion is the dominating nature, but they also have goodness. That is the reason a true Kshatriya can recognize Brahmana being actually in goodness, and he seeks guidance from the Brahman. Because he also has some goodness, so he has that ability to recognize the goodness and seek guidance from the higher goodness. But he is dominantly in the mode of passion. Therefore, they must be guided by Brahmanas. And Vaishyas, just like Kshatriyas, they also have dominant feature as passion, but they also have a lot of ignorance. So therefore, they are controlled by Kshatriyas. And then Shudras, they also have passion, but their dominant feature is ignorance. Mostly ignorance, and there is some passion also. So, but their passion is not enough to govern, to administer, to rule, to make right decisions and all that stuff. So therefore, Vaishyas engage them in work. So there's leadership amongst Vaishyas also. When he has agricultural fields, you're a landlord, you're engaging people in the produce, in farming, and even other businesses, Vaishyas use employees. So that some passion is there. So Shudras, because they cannot, they engage in the service of the Lord. But what is the purpose? Atapumbir Dvijashreshta Varnashtama Vibhagashaha Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. There's one more line I'm missing. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained by Sutta Goswami that the Varnashrama system is given, and the goal of it is Haritoshanam, to please the Lord. Meaning, you are in this world, you have to have something for your livelihood, but remember the ultimate goal is Krishna, and you have to perform sacrifice for the sake of the Lord. Even Shudras, they have to engage in religious activities, but without uttering the Vedic mantras, because they are not properly knowledgeable. So in this way, the system is created to fulfill the needs, because you need somebody to work on the farm. You need somebody to take care of agricultural produce. You need to have somebody for higher governance of the entire population. You need somebody to guiding the governors on how to rule. All these things are requirement for a healthy society. So therefore, Krishna has created this system. But as I said, the goal is to surrender to Krishna. So therefore, that person who is already surrendered to Krishna, for him, the rules of these varnas, they do not apply. He is above, he is transcendental to this system. He is saying, I am above this. I am the non-doer, unchangeable. So here the word avyayam also means that he is not, he's partial to certain people, that's why he made them brahmanas. He's really doesn't like some people, therefore he made Shudras. No. Here unchangeable means his attitude is fixed. He loves everybody. And the reason he is akarta, non-doer, is because he gave the system, and it is people who fell into these individual roles because of their natural tendencies that they were acquired through millions of lifetimes. Through their own desires, they came into this. So he just gave them a framework. It's like in the park, he provided the facility, and some kids want to play with this toy, some kids with another toy. Like that. So Krishna created the system, and it's we who try to acquire certain modes, and because of association with those modes, we get into these things. And when somebody is a Krishna conscious, surrender to the Lord, he is transcendental to this system. And namam karmani limpanti name karma pales praha itimam yobijanati karma virna samadhyate. Now, when Krishna performs these things, when he's doing creation, maintenance, annihilation, all these things, does Krishna get karma? No. Limpanti. Somewhere you say lipyate, means to affect. When we walk into a room where something is cooked, we observe what's happening and we smell like a pizza. If you made pizza and eaten a lot of pizza, we smell like pizza. So is Krishna like that? He's being affected by these things? No. He's totally aloof from this. He had just given this system. Not that he is wanting some outcome from this for his own sake. The desire is of the living entity. Living entity desired, and Krishna has given. Here, nimitta matra neva sau. Krishna is nimitta matra. See, when we become pure devotees, we become nimitta matra. Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachi. Krishna is telling Arjuna, I already killed all these people, Drona, Bhishma, and all these. The battle is finished. The outcome is already set. But you become an instrument and you become glorious. Now, in this case, it's the reverse. The desires are ours, and Krishna is facilitating the material creation. Somebody wants to be a king, somebody wants to be learned, and somebody according to their previous actions or in certain situation. And Krishna is just providing the facilities to go play in the sandbox. So he is facilitating, and material nature is directly giving immediate results. It is also the material cause. But actually, the main cause is us, the living entities. A grown-up kid wants, Papa, I need a car to go to school. He or she. Then the father facilitates. Then he also tells the routes. If you drive properly, in all these routes. And one day, the father gets a phone call. The boy got into an accident. The car, it was a wreck. And all these kids got hurt, hospitals and everything. So upon understanding what has happened, these kids got drunk. They got into an accident. They got hurt. Now, what is the cause of the accident? Who is the main problem for the accident? Who wants to answer?
The person who didn't listen.
What did you say? The person?
The person who didn't listen to the father.
Yeah, so the kid, you could say, if the father hasn't given the car, there would have been no accident. Or the kid will say, no, I didn't want to hit somebody. I just got drunk. Therefore, the beer, the alcohol is the cause. So is alcohol the cause? The kid, the son the cause? Or is the father the cause? So alcohol is like the material nature, because it is providing these modes and giving us this nature. And the kid is the living entity, and the father is Krishna. So we should not blame the material nature, we should not blame Krishna. We should blame our own desires. Therefore, Krishna is Akarta. Krishna is simply helping us to grow. The father is helping the child to advance in his studies. Similarly, Krishna is facilitating our evolution from the most fallen state to higher state by enjoying all kinds of things in whatever way we want, providing path for everything. You want to live in the waters, be a fish. You want to ski, be a polar bear. You want to hunt, be a tiger. You want to fly, be a bird. Every possible enjoyment that we want to do, material nature provides. Isn't this amazing design? Everything we could think of. And still we are sad, we are unhappy. Because if we don't follow the prescription, we will not be happy. So we need to understand that Krishna has nothing to do with it. It's not the father's problem. The father trained the kid, got him the driver's license, paid the insurance, gave instructions. He didn't follow. So similarly, Krishna frames these rules to act in this world. And if we mess up, then it's our problem. And if we don't understand, then it's our problem. We will not be able to go back to Godhead. So now this verse has similarities. Previously, in 4.9, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yoti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanmana iti mameti sojana. So my Janma karma is divyam. And here also he's, not bound by his karmas. And previously in 3.22, Name partasti kartavyam trishu lokeshi kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta eva cha karmani. O son of Partha, there's no work, Pritha, there's no work prescribed for me. And I'm not in want of anything. There's no karma phala spriha. And there's no prescription for him that he has to do it. Yet I'm engaged in prescribed duties. So meaning, when Krishna comes also, he is performing prescribed duties to set an example. So therefore, the understanding is, we fall, even though a pure devotee is also transcendental, the pure devotee also acts according to the prescriptions to set a good example with proper understanding. And that's the next verse. Evam gnatva kritam karma purvairapi mokshvihi kuru karmaiva tasmat tvam purvaihi purvataram kritam. All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. So this understanding of who Krishna is started in 4.9. Evam yo vetti tattvataha, one who knows this. And in this verse also is saying, Evam jnatva. There, evam vetti. Same thing. So we need to understand Krishna's transcendental position. These verses are specifically dealing with, we should understand Krishna in a proper way. Until and unless we understand properly, we are not going back to Godhead. His position. Sometimes, okay, we want to hear some Vrindavan pastimes and all these, but we don't know how Krishna is acting in this world. Then there's a possibility we become like Sahajiyas. So, but understanding how Krishna is acting in this material world helps us understand his greatness and our littleness, how small we are. And with that mode, we can engage with Krishna properly. Otherwise, we will commit offenses. And here, how to act is, he's saying, Urvairapi mumukshubhihi karma kritam. The transcendentalists previously acted with this understanding. And this understanding comes through Shastra, like Krishna is describing. He's telling Arjuna, you also do like that. You are a Kshatriya. I created this Varnashrama Dharma. You follow in the footsteps of previous Kshatriyas by understanding that I created this Varnashrama Dharma. You follow the great personalities. Kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purvaihi purvataram kritam. Now this word taram and tama, you see sometimes guhyam, secret. Guhya taram, more secret. Guhya tamam, more secret. So the previous people acted according to more previous people. That means following the paramparic traditions. How to do bhakti? Well, Prabhupada has given a process. Our seniors have given a process by following in the footsteps of Prabhupada. Purvai purvataram kritam. This following Purva Acharyas is a must, because with our tiny brains, we cannot figure out how to act, how to do. Therefore, we must follow in the footsteps of previous acharyas, previous devotees. And that's why the line of disciplic succession is very important. And we may say, okay, I'm already a pure devotee. And Prabhupada says, those who are already advanced, they can set an example for others. Arjuna, if you are already advanced, then you set a good example for others. That's why he said in the same thing. 3rd chapter, when Krishna appointed 322, and that's also a section where Krishna is telling Arjuna, in the verse before, Yadyad acharti sveshtas tattadevetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastatam vartate. Whatever action great man performs, common men follow. Whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Therefore, you set an example. Arjuna, even if you think you are so advanced that you can just retire. In the Varnashrama, you said about Varnas, Krishna, there is also something called Ashrama, and there is Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha. Actually, I am a Vanaprastha Krishna. said, no, Arjuna, you are not vanaprastha. You are a grihastha. You have wife, you have children, you're taking care of them. So act like a kshatriya, grihastha. Because that's your situation. Okay, I know you are a pure devotee. But you set an example. Just like even though I am fully transcendental, I am also engaged in these things, in the matter of creation, creating varnashrama and all these. You also set an example. And so many others did it. And here the word Purvaihi means who is that Purva? He recommends the acts of the sun god. Because remember in the beginning of the chapter, Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham. I gave this to Vivaswan. Now you know how Vivaswan acted. How did sun god act? And follow in his footsteps. And his son is Manu, Vivasvata Manu. And Manu's son is Ikshvaku. You can see that lineage, how they properly acted and set a good example. Purvai Purvataram. So similarly, you also act. So he's teaching this Nishkama Karma, acting without expecting the results. Either for liberation in all the three phases, or to set example if you are already liberated. He's acting without expecting any results. Nishkama Karma Yoga. So that's what Krishna is trying to teach Arjuna by using his own example. And also for that purpose, we must understand Krishna because that will help us to follow this path. So I'll stop here. Any questions, comments from anyone?
Everybody, thank you very much for the beautiful session. I guess I can start with one question. In the meanwhile, I request devotees if they have any questions, they can raise their hands. Prabhuji, like when we were discussing the last shloka, the 15th shloka, you mentioned how Krishna is working in this material nature. As devotees, it's very important for us to understand, not just hearing or understanding his pastimes. Of course, I mean, we cannot understand his pastimes, but at least listen to it carefully and know what he has done. But like right now in our temple, we are reading the third canto of Bhagavatam. And we are in the 26th chapter, which is very, very technical. We are discussing Pradhan and everything. And like how you mentioned, we have to know how Krishna is working. And for a person like me, it is becoming so challenging. So then the question comes to mind, I mean, can we just not do devotional service, serve devotees and chant, and then maybe we can transcend Vaidhi Bhakti in some lifetime and then get to the other stage? Or like when such technical things come, how should I take it? Because it's very difficult. But like speakers like you always mention that we have to know how Krishna works.
Yes, so very good question. My point is that we need to understand Krishna is the one that's doing all these things. And what you have gone through is exactly what is needed. Meaning, you have seen how difficult it is, even to understand what to make, what to speak of doing it.
Yeah.
Right? This universe pervaded billions of miles, and one layer is bigger than the other layer, and how the creation has taken place, how from the three modes of nature, from the mode of goodness, demigods have come, the mind has come, from the mode of passion, the intelligence has come, the knowledge acquiring senses has come, from the mode of ignorance, the elements have come, all these things when we know, wow, okay, I never knew this, why I think like this, why my senses are acting like that. And even understanding was so difficult. What to coming up with this wonderful design and implementing it and having demigods, how much it takes to transport, say 1 ton of water from one place to other. How much horsepower is it required? And when Krishna evaporates water from the oceans and it goes up into the sky and it forms the clouds, and Vayudev pushes the clouds And when it comes and dumps on our roof, if you collect that water is tons and tons and tons, millions and billions of tons of water falling all over Houston. Imagine that. If you have to go, bring in a bucket and come. And this is Krishna's greatness. And when we understand this, okay, then we properly, one thing is it gives us faith that Krishna will protect. If he can do such big things, it's nothing for him to help me with whatever problem we have. But he has a bigger plan to help me in such a way that I'll be with him quicker. Like a Google map. Like Google Maps, you put some things, it will give you, some route it will give you. Sometimes if the road is not so good, but that's the fastest way to get there. So Krishna, when we know the greatness of Krishna, our faith will increase, and it's okay for us. We don't have to understand every minute detail. What we need to understand is that Krishna is great. That's what we need to get from it. Krishna is great. Krishna is behind it. Krishna is doing it. Like that Brahmana scholar and a cobbler, right? The Brahmana, instead of understanding Krishna is great, he gets into too much analytical thing. And then he's like, cannot understand that Krishna could put elephant through a needle of an eye. Like, how is that possible? Because he has more faith in his intellectual abilities than Krishna's potencies. But a simple cobbler, he says, Narada Muni, Krishna has no problem putting elephant through the eye of a needle because he put the big banana tree in the small seed. His packaging is so expert that he packaged the banana tree in the seed. But in order to open the package, it will take some time. The way you open the packet is you put it in the ground, you put some water, the packet opens on its own. And look how he makes nice oranges, neatly packed. You just peel the orange, every little piece of this orange is so nice, No packaging company in the world can package like Krishna himself packages. So we just need to understand that he is great. And that cobbler just understood, my Lord is so great. That's all you need. When you read Bhagavatam, when you read these things, we understand that, wow, Krishna is amazing. And that increases our faith. And with that faith, our chanting becomes better. Right? Otherwise, if we just have, okay, we are enjoying, then people think, I am Radha, you are Krishna, and all this kind of stuff, because they don't have the proper understanding. I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you once again. Halila Prabhu, would you like to say something before we go to any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for giving us practical knowledge on this Bhagavad Gita verses today. It was so nicely explained by giving some practical examinations as well as your experience that you have. And we hope that you will keep coming up to Partsarthi Foundation so a listener can get benefit at this point. So if somebody have a question, Nadaji, you can take the questions now. Hare
Yes,
Krishna. Thank you so much. Hari Bol.
so you can unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, I liked the class, but I just had one follow-up question to the answer that you gave, Mataji. So my question is that we desire our free will is to desire anything from Krishna as long but then we make trades that we'll do this if you give us this, and when Krishna gives that to us, we never do the back in trade. So Prabhuji, please provide advice to me that how should we not do that, and not that doesn't come to us, that we make a trade for Krishna.
It's okay to do that as well. It's okay to do that as well in the beginning, right? Akama sarva kamo va. Even if we have a lot of desires, okay, we can be honest with Krishna that Krishna, I want this. And Krishna will give. So first thing is we need to understand where we are, right? And then go by it. Like Dhruva Maharaj, when he went to his guru, Narada Muni, the Muni said, Dhruva, what happened? Where are you going? He said, I want to see God. Do you want to see God? Because my stepmother, she insulted me. And that's bad. She should not have done that. She said, I cannot sit on my father's throne. And actually, I'll get a bigger throne than my father. I want to become a bigger king and show her. Dhruva, you're a little boy. Yes, you get angry, but afterwards everything is over and tomorrow you want to eat sweets and play ball and all that stuff. Just go home. He says, no, I want this. Hey, Dhruva, there are tigers, snakes, all these. Why do you want this? Go home. And he says, no, I want to see God. Okay, Dhruva, I'll tell you one thing. You know what? Krishna likes if you forgive. Amanitvam adambitvam. And if you want to chant the holy names, you have to be humble than a blade of grass, tolerant than a tree. You should tolerate. That is nice. And Dhruva says, yes, this is right. You're right, I don't want to go home, I don't want to play. But I think you're right that, yes, I have to be tolerant. But you know what? I have this Kshatriya nature. I cannot tolerate something wrong. I want to, because I'm a Kshatriya, I cannot tolerate something wrong. And I don't want to take away something in a wrong way. But in my own way, through righteous means, I want to fulfill my desire. Just give me right way to fulfill my desire of getting a kingdom bigger than my father, not only father, bigger than my grandfather also. My great-grandfather also. So, then Narada Muni says, okay, you have this desire, then I'll give you. So and then he goes through that, then he repents, then he blames demigods actually. You know what? I don't know who spoiled my mind. I don't know when Narada Muni told me to tolerate, I don't know why I was still desiring that. I should have listened to Narada Muni's words and developed tolerance and worship Krishna, just accepting whatever, then I would have gone back to Godhead quickly. And now for 36,000, Krishna gave me to rule. I think this was plan of demigods because their lifespan is so big, they can't go back to Godhead so quickly. They are enjoying. They want me also to enjoy, and they cheated me. So this is how he was thinking. But through that process, he was purified. So he came to that conclusion that I should not have asked after the process of bhakti. So my suggestion is, it's okay if you have a desire, ask Krishna, but then, don't say that you will do something that you cannot do. Okay? So you just say that, Krishna, I want this, please give me. But then don't make a promise that you cannot fulfill. According to Nectar of Devotion, you need to take a vow that you can follow. Okay? Sometimes people want to take, Prabhuji, from tomorrow, I'll chant 16 rounds. How many are doing now? I'll do 1 round on every Ekadashi. And tomorrow you want to do 16 every day. You know what? Just do 1 round a day. After 1 week, we'll talk more. Right? Then 1 week you do 2. So Nectar of Devotion suggests that our vows should be reasonable. This is what in the business world, the goals have to be specific, measurable, achievable. So you need to know your capacity and ask your parents how much you can do, take their guidance, and then make a vow. Krishna, if you will give me this, I'm going to chant 1 round every day. And then you tell your promise to your parents, because when you tell your promise to someone, it is more likely that you will follow up. You don't tell anybody because there's nobody to hold you accountable, you will not do it. So therefore, write it down. Tell your mom and dad. Then there's more chance that you will fulfill your promise that you made to Krishna. But then you will realize that, you know what, I think I'm doing business with Krishna. I should do it for love. So gradually you will do it out of love. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Mataji. Ila Mataji, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I just have one question that I really liked what you said that Krishna has a bigger plan to help you, and he's great and he's doing all this, which increases obviously our faith. But what if something like there's good and bad in the world, of And what if something really unexpectedly bad happens in your life? And then which way do we reciprocate back to Krishna? That does that not decrease our faith in him? Because we're like not expecting good things all the time, but which way do we look at that? That it's how do we receive that? And should that faith still be balanced?
Yes,
But it's hard to
yeah,
do that. Yeah.
yeah. It's a very good question. For all of us, we have experiences, right? Things happen in our life. And in your question, there's also this assumption, which we all have that assumption, that somehow Krishna has done this to us, right?
Yeah.
Is whatever situation that has happened to me, because Krishna has done this, and therefore my faith in Krishna is lost. And that's exactly what Krishna is trying to tell us in these verses, is that he hasn't done that to us. He did not do that to us. It is our chain of reactions coming from millions of lifetimes have set us up to this situation. And if there is anything, Krishna is available for us to deal with this situation. So our question should not be why Krishna did this, but rather this has happened because of whatever things that may be. But how can I, in this situation, take the best possible help from Krishna? How can I have a mode of receiving the best possible help from Krishna? So like if you blame the doctor who is supposed to heal you, you are in an accident and you wake up in the hospital. And you go and, unconscious, you wake up in the hospital and the doctor is treating you and you're yelling at doctor, why did you do this to me, this and that, right? So that's how we are. Krishna is the doctor. He's not the cause of our problems. The cause of our problems is the material situation that we have created for many, 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 many lifetimes. So if we understand that aspect, then it will be a little easier to deal with it. But then we may say, why did Krishna not prevent this?
Yeah.
Because I'm doing some service, why did he not prevent this, right?
Yes.
So then we should think that if Krishna has let this happen, it means there must be something that I'm not able to understand at this point of time. So let me give benefit of doubt to Krishna, and maybe at some point I will understand. And it is difficult. It's not so easy. I have had situations where I blamed Krishna. I mean, I didn't practice Krishna consciousness as long as a lot of people here. We are very, very seniors here. So at least the 20 years I have been practicing, I had difficulties where I could not see why Krishna would do this to me. In that thing, I did not have anything to do with that situation, but I was suffering the most in that situation. If there's anything, I was only contributing positively, but the worst possible result was upon me. Like, why Krishna? Right?
Yeah,
So,
and you have more. You're more profound, and you're in Krishna. You're a really pure devotee, and for something like that to happen to you, I think I feel very little. I feel like, of course, it's going to happen to me, but to happen to you, I think I'm glad you told me that. In that way, I'll know next time that if it can happen to Prabhuji, then I'm just so minute compared to that. Yeah.
And particularly for initiated devotees, when these situations come, these are very, very negligible things in compared to what we should have actually gone through. Krishna minimizes things. And the good thing is, our prayer should be, Krishna, you are trying to teach me something through these things. All I pray is for the strength to go through this and intelligence to understand this. Bhaktivinoda Thakur uses the word Shakti Buddhi. Shakti means the strength. So we need the strength to go through this, and we need proper intelligence to kind of rationalize what is happening and why is happening. So we should pray for these two things. Give me strength to go through whatever situation it is and perform devotional service with proper settled mind, rationalize, and in proper intelligence that you are actually my best friend, and then continue. So we should keep praying, and what helps is to keep association of devotees. And then in that association, we can have enthusiasm.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. That was very nicely said. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, just last point, you mentioned in the previous answer that when devotees are initiated, the problems that they encounter, I have heard this many times, that Krishna or Guru Maharaj minimizes that to the minutest possible thing. But how do we see the situation when devotees lose their life? Like in the case, we have lost two very young Matajis in my congregation very recently. And so how should we look at that situation where the kids are very young and the Matajis had to leave their body and Prabhujis are just left with the kids? So we would say that Krishna has minimized the situation, the degree of the problem that they were going to encounter. But in this case, Krishna has taken the life partner away. So how should, I've not been able to come to terms with this. So how should we see this situation?
Yes, very good question. Is this the same person who Radhanath Swami was there chanting?
Yes, Prabhuji, but the other one, also, yes.
So at least that one thing I know where Yugal Kishore Prabhu was there and when Mataji was leaving the body. And actually, the husband was happy that his wife could have this kind of passing, going back to Krishna, right? So from everybody's perspective, for the departed soul, it was the best thing that you could think of. And if I could die like that, there's nothing else I want to ask, right? But that's our goal. The entire goal of why we are doing Krishna consciousness is to leave our body in such a way that we are going back to Godhead. And not every time we will become aware whether Krishna has taken them or not. But in these situations, it becomes very clear that, Krishna is with them and Krishna has taken them. So then from the point of view of the individual soul that has left, it's good. We give 100 marks or more. The problem is with those who are left behind. How do we understand that, right? It's very, very difficult. And yes, and you're right. It's incomprehensible, even to me. But if we have to live long enough to see their future, we will change our opinion. If we have to live long enough, we'll change our opinion. Srila Prabhupada's mother passed away. But look, he's the greatest Acharya in the world of all times. How could you understand that? Prabhupada had 2 or 3 sisters, girls, and his mother passed away. And it is so difficult. But you see, Prabhupada, he became a pure devotee. Pandava's father passed away. They were such great devotees. Duryodhana had mother, father, everybody with him, grandfather, guru. And he had 11 Akshauhinis, where Arjuna had only 7, but still this poor guy got last. He got defeated. He had 99 other brothers. So the metrics that we use to say what is success, what is not success, is not necessarily always the true metric for success. Krishna's mercy can come in any form that is unimaginable, but we are used to these kind of metrics. More numbers will help, if you have a father, mother, brothers, more relatives, then you'll be successful. It may not be like that always. And through historical examples also we can see that. So therefore, that's why I say, we will not be, but if we live long enough and see from historical perspective, we realize, yes, what Krishna did is right? We just don't have enough data points in this time. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay. Thank you very much. That really helps.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And yeah, we would like to thank you again for accepting our invitation and enlightening us on these 5 verses today, Prabhuji. And we hope that you keep coming. And we can have more of your association and wisdom and realization here in Prabhuji. If you are okay, can we end the call today?
Yes. Thank you very much. I think I went over time. My apologies.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Vacha kalpatarubhishya kripa sindhu vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai, His Grace Srinivas Acharya Prabhu ki. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Dandavad Pranams. Hare Krishna, Hare Linda Prabhu, Dandavad Pranams.
Oh, okay. Hare Krishna. How
Hare
is Sugandhraj?
Yes, Prabhuji, he is doing fine, Prabhuji.
He's doing fine. Okay. Your job is going good.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we will be coming to Houston end of June. Once the date is final, I will let you know. Will
Okay.
you be in Houston?
End of June means after 25.
Yes, mostly around 23rd. I don't have the exact dates, but yes, last week of June. You will not be.
We'll be in Dallas because that long weekend there is a program of Sadhu Sangha.
Prabhuji, that will be in May.
Oh, sorry. That is in May. Oh, we will be in Florida. We'll be coming back on 25th from Florida to Houston.
Yeah.
From
Once my dates are final, I will let you know.
Yeah, from 17 to 25, we are in Florida, but we will be back on 25th June in Houston, just for your information.
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
but when you come, you will stay for a few days here, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Krishna.
Dandavad Pranams.
Nice job. Hari
Thank
Bol.
you.